So there's been a lot of talk the past few days, couple days, I guess, whatever it's been, a couple days, I guess, at this point, depending on when you're watching this, that games in 2025 could see an increase as high as $100. Now, for guys like me that are in Canada, that is extremely bad news because judging by the currency exchange rates, that would put us, I mean, again, at the time of recording this, roughly, I don't know, like $130 per game. Here in Canada, we're already up to like pretty much $100 per game in Canadian currency. It was just a few years ago that in Canada, we had the same, well, I guess it's a little bit more than a few years at this point. We had the same basically dollar value with the US. You guys were paying $60 for a game. We were paying $60 for a game. Then suddenly, we were paying $65 for a game, but you guys were still paying $60. And then we were eventually paying $70 for a game, but you guys were still at $60. And then we went to $75. And I think at some point you guys got up a little bit higher. I think you guys are paying like $70 now, right? I think. And now we've just been climbing and climbing. And I think the first game that I recognized that in Canada was pushing the $100 mark was Final Fantasy VII Rebirth last year in 2024. Which I think was around 94. I think they were charging some weird number. I think it was like $94 or whatever. So yeah, it's been bad, man. It's been bad. And so we have these reports coming out that apparently games are going to cost even more. Apparently we're going to be getting, I mean, again, this is a significant bump. There's some stuff going on where a veteran investment analyst and researcher by the name of Matthew Ball of Apillion, I guess is his name, is the company or whatever. He has basically released this massive 219-page report about the state of video game in 2025. And according to GameSpot, this is what they're reporting on what he's saying and reporting. And then we'll discuss. I'll throw it up on screen. Take a look. So some of the presentation basically looks at how the video game industry can possibly grow in 2025. There's a section titled How Player Playtime and Player Spend Might Return to Growth. Ball mentioned a variety of opportunities, including GTA 6 costing as much as $100 when it launches this year. And we're going to talk about that in a second here. He basically said that there is hope, in his words. Wow, okay. That Take-Two will price GTA 6 at $80 or even $100, which could prove to be a turning point for the video game industry. This could break a key price barrier and allow other developers to raise prices as well, he said. Before this, a Baldur's Gate 3 developer said that GTA 6 could prompt a shift to more expensive games if Take-Two decides to price it above $70, end quote. All right, listen. There's a lot to kind of a lot of angles to discuss on this. First of all, there is hope for sure for the ones who want to make a bunch of money. Yeah, I guess so. But for the player, that's bad. And I think it's going to end up being bad for the developer too, because if you increase the prices, significantly, times are hard, man. Inflation is high. The economy's not great. People's pockets are feeling it, and you're inevitably probably going to be losing some buyers, some customers, to some extent, to some consumers, because there's going to be a chunk of people you're going to start cutting off. Even with a $10 price hike, that's enough for people to start second guessing and being like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't be spending that right now. I should probably just be waiting, maybe waiting for a sale or something. It's crazy. $80 would be a $10 increase. $100 would be a $30 increase, which is ridiculous. And he says it could be a turning point for the gaming industry. Here's the thing. There's probably a lot of game developers out there that are hoping that Take-Two does this. Now, here's the thing you need to realize, especially like these game developers need to realize, is that none of them are most likely, almost none of them are producing the level of a game that GTA 6 will inevitably be. I mean, GTA 6 has taken way more time than most games take. Think about Call of Duty. I mean, Activision would be one of the first companies to jump on this and start kind of be like, oh, yo, Take-Two did it. We can do it too. Call of Duty, like, listen, I've been a COD fan for a long time. since the early days. It's not in a good state. Call of Duty in its current state on top of that is certainly not worth more than what they're charging, let alone what they're charging is still a little overpriced. Plus all the additional monetization that they're kind of capitalizing on is just ridiculous. So like most developers, they're not in the same league that Take-Two would be in, right? Like nobody is developing games on the scale of Red Dead Redemption and GTA for the most part. I mean, those kind of games are a dime a dozen. So even if Take-Two does that, I mean, it would be such a stupid thing. Like you would really have to be like, you would have to have a lack of awareness as, let's say, the guys and the woman in suits, okay, the higher ups, the people making these decisions. You would have to have a lack of awareness to think that your value equals the value that Take-Two is putting out. Okay? Take-Two is not, you're not on their level. I don't like you if any developer thinks they can charge more because Take-Two is, like, you've bumped your head, man. Okay? Like you need to check stuff. Now listen, that's one aspect. That's one angle. Is that if anyone would be justified to do that, it would be Take-Two, but even then I hope they don't do it because again, too many publishers and developers are going to think that they can increase theirs, that their value somehow, what they're outputting somehow is justified of a higher price tag just because Take-Two is doing it. Who, like, again, like look at the stuff they put out. I mean, it's like, come on. They're not lazy, first of all. It's not like, oh, like, oh, hey, look, we just released a messy game that's, like COD, you know what I mean? It launches and it's like the game's a mess, or like all these other games that keep launching with like in such a messy state. It's not good. If you want to start charging that much, you got to prove your worth. You know what I mean? And sadly, a lot of studios are just not proving their worth in the past, 5+, maybe even the last 10 years, even in some regards. The other angle is this. If games are costing so much to make, maybe you need to scale it back a bit. You know what I mean? Like some games, for example, Call of Duty. I keep bringing that one up because that's one that's like, it's a massive game. It costs a lot of money. Produces a lot of money, because they charge. They have so many different monetization streams, but with Call of Duty, I mean, you got something like that, right? Something like that they would have to stop pushing a game every single freaking year. You know what I mean? They would have to take their time with it and just relax and put some more effort into it first and foremost, and scale things back a bit. Stop trying to push a COD every single year, and then you might not have to worry about charging extra or whatever. That's one angle, right? The other thing is in terms of like story-based games, there's a lot of story-based games. There's a lot of bloat. Now I seen with Assassin's Creed, they kind of fixed this. Valhalla was a great game, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, but man, the bloat in that game was just annoying. Like it was so bloated. But then you got Assassin's Creed Mirage that comes around and it just feels like they did a much better job. Right? Instead of dragging this game out for like 40, 50 hours, it's a shorter game. It's like what? Like, I mean, it depends, if you're doing side quests and stuff, but it might be 15, 20 hours. For me, I'm satisfied with that. Like, 20-hour story. I much actually prefer a 20-hour story-based game than like a 40, 50-hour game, Even a great game like Red Dead Redemption 2, at some point you feel like it's like, am I ever going to see the end of this? And it's like, I get it. Like, you want your money's worth. Absolutely. But, that's kind of the other thing is like, if it's costing too much money to make, then it's like scale it back just a bit. Instead of like producing 40-hour stories, story-based games, tone it down to like 30 hours. Just trim it a little bit. Don't start getting skimpy though and give us like 5-hour story-based games that you're charging like $80, and calling it like, good value. Obviously not. That would be ridiculous as well. But anyways, the point being is, could we see this hike up? Maybe. I hope not. Because like I said, for us Canadians especially, we're gonna suffer too. We're all gonna suffer. Our value dollar is different, obviously. I get that, but it's already painful, man. It's painful. So I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think Take-Two is gonna do it? Do you think they're gonna take the plunge and charge more? certainly they cannot go as high as 100. They would be out of their minds. Like, I get GTA 6 is going to be massive, but they'd be out of their minds to go that high. Take-Two for GTA 6, they could probably get away with $80. But again, that does not mean every developer and every studio can get away with charging more and that becoming the norm. I don't think so. I really don't think so. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments. And if you enjoy this kind of content, let me know if you want to see more of it, where we just kind of discuss, news, but we do a little bit kind of more discussion based like we've done the past, couple of weeks and whatnot. So if you enjoyed it, leave a like, subscribe for more, and I'll hope to see you guys soon in another one. Till then, game on. Catch you guys later. Hey you! What are you doing? Join the Skeleton Army! Do it today! Don't wait till tomorrow because tomorrow might never come. The Earth is gonna fade, that's inevitable. The next second of your life's not even promised, so you better think about where you're going, and you might as well just join the Skeleton Army. Plus, we do kind of like you a little bit, so it'd be nice to see you around here. But if you don't want to, hey, your loss. See you later.